Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to yet another Hinduism question and answer session. My name is Nishit Kotak. I'm here today with the esteemed Jay Lakhani from the Hindu Academy. Jay is a speaker on various topics, including Hinduism. And today I'm sitting in for Padma Jain, who is the normal presenter. And I'm sure she will join us shortly. And I will then be manning the chat thereafter. Folks, before we start, if you could please leave us a comment below to tell us where you're watching this video from, and also like and share this video so that your friends and family can also see it. Jay Bhai, welcome to today's Q&A session, and I'll get cracking with the first question, which is from Rohit Dubey, and the question is, what is Kundalini awakening?
You see, last time I did mention there were three particular terms we use for making spiritual progress. Yantra, mantra, and the third one is tantra. Now normally tantra is a pathway which is shunned by kind of mainstream followers of Hinduism because they say it's a left-handed pathway, means it can easily become corrupted. So this is the reason why tantra is not normally used. But in the tantric tradition, this is the idea that when you are successful in meditation, you are sitting upright. Most important thing in Raj Yoga, at Patanjali Yoga Sutra, is you must sit upright in order for you to go into meditation. This is the important thing that you must recognize. It actually happens, I'm telling you from experience. When you are successful in meditation, some kind of stirring up begins at the base of your spine. It is real, I'm telling you. And this particular stirring up begins to rise as if in your spinal cord. It is really a very thrilling experience. So as it rises, it gives you higher and higher spiritual experience. This is called, Kundalini awakening. Now, with people like Ramakrishna, this is the beauty of this personality. They can just touch somebody and let the Kundalini become awakened, so become spiritually awakened. This is a real physical, that's the reason there is a part of the physical being that kind of gets involved in meditation. That is your backbone. Your backbone seems to come alive. There's a very central nerve right at the heart of in the center of backbone, which is called central nervous. This particular nerve has no particular reason for being there. And according to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, according to Kundalini Yoga, this particular nerve at the center of your spine becomes awakened, becomes kind of active when you are successful in meditation. This is called awakening Kundalini.
Oh, thank you, Jay Bhai. I've been looking at that as well myself, and so it's a pretty good explanation for how the whole process works. Well, this is another question we received, that recently we heard the Pope's comments that those who commit sins, their spirit will die eternally, which is quite confusing. One has to go through their actions, whether they're good or bad. So what are your views on this?
You see, the Christian tradition adopted this idea of a two-life scenario. If you're a goody-goody, you go to heaven and live forever with the ultimate reality, with God. But if you're a baddie, according to the Abrahamic tradition, especially Christianity, if you are a baddie, you are condemned to hell forever. Now, for me, this flies in the face of common sense because, at a very important meeting of senior judges in UK, I asked the judge, I said, what crime should I commit whereby you would sentence me to infinite years in hell? Tell me what crime should I commit? Suppose I kill 6 million people, like, Hitler. Maybe perhaps you can put me into, life sentence, 6 million life sentences in hell. Fair enough. But infinite, this is frightening. This is so severely skewed. It shows God in a very poor light. I suspect this particular idea was adopted in order to make sure the devotees stay in line, are kind of under control, so they don't mess about and they make spiritual progress without taking any gamble or risk. That is the reason why perhaps this was adopted, but it's completely outdated. Anybody with even slightest common sense will say, how can anybody be condemned for infinite years in hell? What crime can they commit? So this, in a way, flies in the face of common sense because it gives us an infinitely skewed risk-reward ratio, and this is not acceptable in rational thinking.
Quite true. So, folks, as we go ahead, let me remind you, we are here on a Hinduism question and answer session with Jay Lakhani. These sessions are held live, they're broadcast from London, and we'd love to hear where you are watching either this live video from or the broadcast, so that we can understand where our audience are located. So the next question is from Aditya Warrior, and the question is this: I wish to learn more on Hinduism. How should I start? And you mentioned that if you want to learn or seek spirituality, you need a guru or an enlightened person to follow. Now, while Jay is answering this question, I'm going to give way to our regular presenter, Ms. Padma Jain, to take over the rest of the question and answer session. Jay, over to you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Nishit Bhai, for stepping in the last moment. Okay. Now, first of all, how do you begin your spiritual journey? Let me be very blunt. Every living thing, every human being is stirring up and making spiritual progress in their own mode. So we do not vilify anybody. Suppose somebody lives a very secular life, is very happy with a very, very kind of personal life of enjoyment. We do not condemn anybody. We simply say this is the way they are unfolding spiritually. Let it be. We do not condemn anybody saying they are secular, they are horrible monsters. We don't say things like that. So everybody is progressing at their own pace. But if you want to increase your pace, this is what you are asking. How do you increase your pace of spiritual growth? Then my suggestion to you is this. Rather than because living gurus are very difficult to find, and most of them are quite, kind of suspect, I would say. So the best way is to say, if you look at some personalities in recent time, not ancient time, recent times, you feel comfortable they are spiritually awakened, they are kind of, masters of the subject, then I would say don't even listen to their lectures, look at their life stories. These are the most thrilling way to begin your spiritual journey. In my case, it was the story of Raman Maharshi, his personal life story, the story of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans, the story of Swami Vivekananda, that drew me into religion, that got me plugged into religion. So my advice generally is that, fair enough, you make your own progress, but suppose you want to, quicken your spiritual progress, then read up the lives of those personalities you feel comfortable are spiritually enlightened. That's the best way to start your journey.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lakhani. Thank you also to Nishit Bhai for stepping in for me, and welcome to everybody. Please do tell us where you're watching us from so that we can understand our audience a bit better. And like, share, and comment. We have a question from Guna Rathanam. Sir, who inspired you to become a religious, and who is your guru?
Okay, but this is a very important question. You must ask anybody you feel that you need to kind of challenge or question. What is your background? What is your source of inspiration and authority? My source of inspiration and authority are these wonderful mentors of modern India, these grand super personalities of modern India. These are Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans and Swami Vivekananda. It is through their blessing that I'm kind of wound up and kind of waving my arms and doing all this lecturing. So my gurus, or feel like my mentors, source of inspiration are Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna.
And possibly your own life experiences, I guess.
Very rough one.
Thank you so much for that question, Gunarathanam. I think you said you were from Malaysia, is it? Malaysia. Okay, so we have a couple more questions from Aditya Warrior. And his questions are: ego is termed as our conscious mind, where one feels pride about self-thoughts, etc. But doesn't ego come out of person subconsciously also?
Yes, look, ego, we sometimes vilify. Of course, we need to vilify the ego, because ego means you become big-headed and all that. But the idea of ego is that particular faculty we all possess that kind of coordinates all our facilities. For example, you've got the body, the mind, the intellect. All these have to be coordinated. There must be some coordinating faculty that keeps everything under check or keeps everything joined up. And that faculty we call the ego. So ego is not something you can't live without. Look, I can't eat without the ego, because I need the food. I must have my hand. I must pick up the food and put it in my mouth, otherwise I would die. So ego in a way plays, as you said, subconsciously or consciously, it is very much part of us. We cannot avoid it. But the interesting thing is this is what Sri Ramakrishna said. He said, it's nice to have this called unripe ego. Means kind of thinks it's just the body, mind, intellect. But when this ego ripens, they say, oh dear, actually I'm really just a coordinating faculty. I don't have an existence of my own. Then that ego becomes mature, and the ripened ego drops off. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. And when it drops off, the real essence of who you truly are is not the ego. It's in fact just fluff covering up your own vision regarding who you truly are. You are essentially the spirit, and this is something to suppose I keep waving my arms. Oh, it sounds very nice and idyllic and poetic. It's no good. It has to be experienced to really feel comfortable. Until you experience it, don't believe stuff like that. But I'm saying, when you get that experience, the ego drops off the mind regarding nature of reality in yourself.
Thank you so much for that. And one more question from Mr. Aditya Warrior. Does Hinduism touch upon quantum physics in a better way, where I feel no other religion emphasizes on it? and physics revolves around matter, whereas quantum says some energy vibrations is the reason for creating matter. Is there any verse which explains this in Hinduism? So in your readings, have you come across anything that...
Yes, it's a sad thing that quantum physics was only discovered in 1920s, because otherwise Swami Vivekananda would have latched onto it straight away. But the thing is, look, I'm kind of a little tiddler, but I'm latching onto it now. What Adi Shankara was talking about, saying that the disjoint between what is reality and what it appears as, this disjoint is called Maya. Now, the best example he could use was the kind of ancient idea of in the darkness you see a rope and you mistake it for a snake, like that. But in modern day, this particular example will not go very far, because people say, look, you need better lighting, and sort out this is the rope and not a snake. So it doesn't really go very far. This ancient metaphor that Adi Shankara used only goes so far. But that is the idea behind the idea of Maya. But modern physics now is enhancing the idea of Maya in a most dramatic manner. This is what it says. Look, this is the quantum mechanics Copenhagen interpretation, which majority of scientists agree with. It says, underpinning to this reality, the material world that you see, yes, empirical, yes, physical world, I can sense it, I can touch it and see it and all that, is actually, says the quantum physics, is actually an appearance. Underpinning to this reality is non-material. We don't know what to call it, but it's not matter. Matter is an epiphenomenon of something underneath, and then underneath is a reality, and matter is an, if you like, a paradox, an epiphenomena. It's an appearance. These are the words of Erwin Schrödinger, the father of quantum physics. You can see how well, if I wanted to present the idea of Maya, rather than use the word of the teaching of Adi Shankara, I would use the word of physics, modern quantum physics, saying reality is not what it appears to be, and we all know there's something deeper underneath this reality we are so sure about. This fixation on matter has to be challenged.
Right. So you also told us what is Maya, which was a question
You've
from
covered
Mr.
it.
Prabhakarji. So thank you
touched
so
on
much, Prabhakarji, for your question, and I hope that answers your question also. So we have a question from Sonia Cameron. If yoga is union of body, mind and spirit, a process by which to realize the true self or Atman, that which is higher state of consciousness, that we as human beings are physical representation of the desire to attain moksha, getting off a relentless wheel of life, then what is the point if once this is achieved there is nothingness? If understanding that a conscious observer is required to create what we understand is reality, if we were all to attain moksha and therefore jump off the wheel of life, there would be no conscious observers, no reality, no nothing.
Okay.
What is your take on that?
Very, very good question, because it's people like, they think that this is again the problem of modern physics and Stephen Hawking's. He somehow thinks that consciousness is something that comes out of a living thing, and all the living things kind of get tinkle, little consciousness, twinkling in all the eyes and all that. So it is, if you like, a manufacture of the physical body, a physical individual. So this is, if you like, a serious misunderstanding regarding the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is not something that comes out of an individual, human or animal or insect or whatever. Consciousness is the underpinning to reality. So whether there is somebody to observe the world or there are living things or non-living things is by the way. Underpinning is consciousness. Somehow it kind of seeps through the world that we see. It becomes more clearly visible as men and women, as living things, seeping through. But if suppose all this, the little kind of tinkling, consciousness of all the living things are snuffed out, does consciousness disappear? No. It simply means the expression that was getting through all this material and beings has now gone. So be it. Consciousness is not touched. So it is the underpinning to reality and not something that is manufactured by material, human or animal being.
Thank you so much for that question, Sonia Cameron. That was a good question indeed. So friends, people, do like, share, comment, and do tell us where you're watching us from. We have a question from Kumar. Thank you so much for that. What is the essence of Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, you see, we see a transition. This is the unique feature about our tradition. We are a living tradition. So we are saying that the idea of spirituality was enhanced by different grand personalities like Ram in the time of Ramayana, and later on by Krishna in the time of Mahabharata. And of course, one of the masterpieces that came out of Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita. Now, the reason why Bhagavad Gita is crucial is this: it is making a transition of spirituality for society. Because otherwise society, in the time of Ram, the idea where it becomes spiritual is, go into the forest and meditate and, blah, blah. That is the story of Ramayana. All the rishis were meditating in the ashrams and so on, and Ram would go and visit them. So the idea in the story of Ram was that you become spiritual by, in a way, abandoning the worldly life and entering a life of a monk, etc., and practicing serious spiritual disciplines to gain the spiritual experience. In the story of Krishna, the transition is visible. He's saying, this is the beauty of Krishna. He's saying you can bring spirituality into the marketplace. You don't need to go in the forest. The first time he's given a prescription of how living an ordinary life, a human life in society, you can still become spiritually awakened, just living a worldly life. How worldly life? Yes. Krishna says, okay, carry on working, karma marg, but now learn to work selflessly for the greater good rather than your private good. And this will make you spiritual. See, in normal terms, you can use this in your normal daily life. So Krishna has brought idea of spirituality suited to the marketplace, suited for the greater world. So this was the transition from Ramayana to Mahabharata. And Krishna is very clearly a very wonderful example of how this transition took place, bringing spirituality into daily life. This is the uniqueness of the Bhagavad Gita.
Wonderful, thank you. I did wonder where Bhagavad Gita sat in the whole context of everything else. So we have a question from, it doesn't actually say who it's from, but it is somebody, an audience, who is saying that they have a doubt about what is there in the living body, but that is not present in the dead body.
It's from a university student who keeps asking me this question. Sorry, I didn't get the name.
Okay.
I forget the name of the university as well. But the idea is this. He's saying, how do you distinguish a dead body from a living body? It's very tricky, isn't it? If you ask a modern scientist, how do you distinguish? He won't know as well. Because almost all the parts are there, but somehow they're not working. They've stopped working. So the organs have stopped working, and then you say, oh, that's a dead body. And how do they do it? This is a clinical way of declaring somebody dead. They look to see if the heart is pumping. Oh, no more heart pumping, not pumping. The lungs are breathing. No, lungs have stopped breathing. Oh, what about the brain? Maybe there's some electrical activity going on and electrochemical activities in the brain. So let's check that out. Oh, that's not working either. Okay, we declare the person dead. This is how they define a dead person. All the organs, basically the main organs in the body have stopped functioning. Okay. Now, what is the difference? The difference is this. According to the Hindu tradition, we are saying the thing that was keeping everything joined up together and allowing the heart to continue to pump, the lungs to continue to breathe air, that individual, that particular energy, or that is called prana, that has decided now to abandon the body. So it is not a physical thing. It's not some kind of energy coming out. I don't believe in that. But the metaphysical aspect of being decides to kind of break its link with the physical. So when the physical and the metaphysical link is broken, that individual is now called a dead person rather than a living person. It's a metaphysical phenomena. And what's the best best way of exploring? Near-death experience. This is the best way to know that the person who was living there has decided to leave the body, and yet he's there. But he has, if you like, lost his link with the body, and that body is then declared dead in the near-death experience.
So clinically, you're saying that the machines will tell us that a person is clinically dead, but spiritually they may not be dead because there's a near-death experience, because that might
they might come back. They'll come back.
So that is what that I suppose explains those people who are clinically dead, and then next thing you notice that they're breathing and they've come back again.
That's correct. So in a way, metaphysical explanation is better than a purely clinical explanation regarding how we define a dead person.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you. Friends, people, audience out there, please do tell us where you're watching us from, and do join us every week. This is a live broadcast from London every Saturday for your Q&As on Hinduism. We have a question from Gautam, who lived originally in south of India. He's originally from Bangalore, but has now moved to California, and he's been following you for quite a while now.
Thank you.
And he says you have a very wonderful approach to the way you are approaching Hinduism, and he has put a question to us. My question about meditation is the following. I've been meditating for several months now, and it has become a fixed routine in my day. Currently, I do pranayam and meditation and on the Gayatri, and I feel I've made significant progress over the past months. I would like to know from your experience how to most effectively spend the 20 minutes per day meditation, what techniques I should employ, and if there is anything in particular one should practice.
Okay. So look, first of all, let me tell you, the fact that you already feel that you're progressing is a very wonderful sign. The litmus test to decide whether you're making spiritual progress or not is to ask yourself, am I becoming more empowered? Do I feel more comfortable about myself, my true being? if you become empowered in any field, not only meditation, in any field, even professional field, if you become empowered, it's a sign that you're making spiritual progress. Because when you get closer to your own true nature, you become stronger about yourself, feel stronger about yourself. So the fact that you are successful, you feel successful, means you're already doing a good job. Now, I'm not here to interfere in the way you want to progress spiritually. I'll just make a few comments. You see, you must not say, let's say only, we require minimum 20. Look, it's nice to have a discipline, say, okay, 20 minutes. But I'm saying, when spirituality grabs you, the mood to go into meditation grabs you, there is no time frame. So you might in the middle of the night suddenly start up and grab and say, we need to, you can sit cross-legged on your bed in the middle of the night, everybody's going to sleep, and go into the deepest meditation, spend hours there. Why 20 minutes? So there's no fixed discipline or rule saying that, 20 minutes. But at the same time, it's good to have impose this on yourself, saying, look, even though I'm very, I feel very stressed out, I'm going to spend 20 minutes for meditation. It's good to have the discipline, but this meditation that I'm talking about has no time frame. So whenever that strong urge grabs you and say, I want to go deep into myself, who am I, what is all this? When that grabs you, that's the time to meditate. That's the best time to meditate. There's no fixed rule. People say, dusk and dawn, but I'm saying anytime that strong urge grabs you, go for it, my friend. And you're already making good progress. You don't need any further help from Mr. Lakhani here, so don't worry, you're doing well.
So basically you're saying an inner experience, and you will get an inner calling to tell you that you would like to meditate
more.
And you would become more elevated spiritually to be able to combat the more menial tasks of our everyday life.
Indeed. You will enjoy. You see, again, the beauty is this. When you come out of meditation, you don't feel tired. To the contrary, you feel so charged up, you to be able to hold you down. You feel, like that. It's a wonderful experience.
Very good. Yes. Excellent. Thank you so much for that question. And please do continue watching us and invite and comment on anything that you hear and see. We have a question from our regular viewer, Krishna Reddy. Hello there again, from Berlin. If I know I'm Brahmin, why do I feel individual love for a
person rather than
for a
somebody.
particular person and feel disappointed thereof? What is love actually, and how can it be realized in its unity amongst relation to other people?
You see, the thing is this idea of what is love has puzzled a lot of people for thousands of years. So I'm just going to lighten up. This is a very philosophical, I'll lighten up.
If you ask a question, isn't it?
No, but love this question. The reason is, if you ask different people will try and kind of understand the idea of love in different ways. I'll give you some funny examples, nice ones. When you ask a little child, a 5-year-old, what is love? And he kind of thinks carefully and says, it's something that makes you feel nice and warm. He says, what a wonderful idea, sounds good, he's got it. Then you tell the child, suppose in the winter day, we plonk you in front of a radiator and you feel nice and warm. Are you in love with the radiator? He says, no, I didn't mean that. You see, straight away, every attempt we make to try and classify what is love is going to fall short of the target. Then suppose you ask a youngster, a teenager, what is love? Because he'll become very coy and kind of fidget around, and then finally say, if that girl in the party replies to my text message, Mr. Lakhani, that is love. I say, my boy, there is not love, that's your hormones kicking in. The pesky little hormones are not dictating your life. But that is how he sees love, they get physical attraction. Suppose ask a grown-up person, what is love? And of course they are very posh and say, Mr. Lakhani, love means you care for somebody, you care. It sounds so nice and warm. You're so caring. Oh, that's love. I say, in that case, suppose you went to that restaurant around the corner and plonked 20-pound tip to the waiter before you start ordering. That waiter will be hovering around you, taking care of you. Sir, is the table all right? Can I put the napkin here? They'll be taking so much care of you. Think, is he in love with me? No. Every time we try and come to get a handle on the idea of love, we'll fall short. It's not a weakness. It's the very strength of this idea. Love is in a way just nothing but expression of the unity that you mentioned that is already linking all of us. But sometimes when you extend this love, you get bitten. And this is a wonderful thing the Swami Ashokanand says. He said, look, my friend, there are two ways of worshipping God. Either you go into temples and tinkle bells in front of images, fair enough. And that image will not do anything except tinkle. You pour water over it, pour milk over it, he'll tolerate everything. But when you try and worship the living God, Shiva in Jiva, when you try and worship the living God, there's God in everybody, but when you try and worship it, the living God doesn't tolerate it so easily. He will kick back, he might bite you even. So that is your problem. So how do I distinguish? Well, you are going to get bitten in the sense that when you extend this love for all of living kingdom, especially some special in some individual, you are open, to get bitten. But be ready for it and smile and say, this is how Brahman interacts with me. So be it.
Very lovely explanation on love. Okay, thank you so much, Krishna Reddy, for that lovely question. Guru Retinam, we have a question from you. Some people accuse Swami Vivekananda of saying ancient Brahmins used to eat the holy cow. Now, is this true?
Look, this is a very controversial issue, and a lot of people keep challenging me, saying, why did Swami Vivekananda affirm these things? Now look, I'm telling you, if you look at the Vedic verses, etc., you will find such references. I'm being very blunt, so I might rattle you, but so be it. And Swami Vivekananda was not, he was quite happy to rattle people, be straightforward and say, some of the material you find in the ancient texts, etc., will rattle you. Forget about eating cows. You hear about this wonderful idea of Ashwamedha Yagna. So wonderful, the horse goes around and love and kush follow and all that lovely story. Ashwamedha Yagna was horse sacrifice. They were this is the Vedic scripture. They were sacrificing horse and eating the meat. And you say, oh, I never knew that. This is Hinduism. So when you hear stuff like that, don't get too rattled. Be aware that ancient man was trying to relate to his own condition using various ploys, various methods, and some of them are unpalatable now. You can't even think about that. But so be it. This is how we evolve. It's an evolving religion. So we have gone through very difficult, very interesting patches, I would say.
Thank you. I actually wasn't aware of that, so, I've learned something again. Thank you so much for that very good question there. Vikram Kumarji, thank you so much for your question. What is the concept of the caste system in Sanatana Dharma? Now, the caste system is plaguing Hinduism and plaguing all of India, and it's possibly one of the reasons why we are breaking up in small pieces, despite what Nehruji and Gandhiji had done and Jinnahji had done for us. But we seem to be breaking ourselves up.
You see, caste system, in a way, is still creating problem for Narendra Modi, as we perhaps heard in the news. Let me go back. The important idea in the scriptures of authority, we give, if you like, equal dignity to whole of the living kingdom. There's no upper and lower in the scriptures of authority, the Upanishads. We talk of spirit underpinning every living thing, including all of human beings. So there's no this upper-lower thing in the scriptures of authority. But you see, every society has got this kind of codes of conduct. They say, okay, this is the codes of conduct suited to our society. This is called division of labor. Now, you see, the division of labor means who does what work, upper work, higher work, lower work, menial work, etc., is something that society dictates. It's nothing from the spiritual background to that religion. It is a socio-economic, concept. Every society has got it, including the communist society. You got this hierarchy, you belong to this family, you upper and all that. You can go to Black Sea and have holiday and so on. Every society has got its stratification and hierarchy. Including England, we are culprits. The English class system is a wonderful example of it, this socio-economic stratification called the English class system. It is hereditary. The Queen is the best example of a hereditary hierarchical caste system of the English. Every society has got it. So first recognize a social issue, not a spiritual issue. So as far as the scripture of authority are concerned, they make no such distinction. But the scripture of lower authority, like the Manusmriti, makes a big hoo-ha about the upper caste and the lower caste and what jobs they can be done, etc. And why this is kind of fixed and you can't change it, etc. But nobody has got the Manusmriti in their homes in India or in UK now. It's been outdated. Scripture is gone out. Sell by date is gone a long time ago. So the modern teachers like Vivekananda, etc., have no time for this caste system, etc. Unfortunately, India is kind of plagued with look, in UK, the caste system has turned into a benevolent clan system, not a caste, clan. So a Brahmin, we go together, marry within yourself, it's just convenience. Nothing you are higher or lower. So in UK, it's disappeared and turned into a benevolent clan system. It's no more hereditary caste system. And Brahmin can be working in the McDonald's or can be doing what sorts of things. So there's no big deal now. But in India, we are still stuck because in the village, suppose there's a potter. And the potter's got a son, there's no education. The potter's son will become a potter, otherwise he'll die. So in a way, this becomes hereditary because out of sheer need for survival. So this will continue to be in the Indian subcontinent. Only the socio-economic landscape taking different forms now is changing dramatically. So the potter's son can become an IT specialist and move up. and get out of the hereditary caste system. So this is happening naturally because the socio-economic landscape of modern India is changing dramatically, thank God for people like Modi. And this will demolish the caste system in the natural manner. This is how it should go. Can't be pulled out by religion, because it's never put in by religion. So it is a social issue that is still infecting modern India, but it is dramatically changing, and so be it.
I think it's changing for the better, and
Yes.
it's not going to. I don't think it will become a clan system like it has become over here, because that is quite detrimental. In fact, it's not helpful in any way. But when the caste system amalgamates and becomes one in a way, there is the danger, isn't there, that when all the farmers' children become businessmen, there will be no farmers left.
You see,
Who will till the seeds?
Society itself will dictate. The socio-economic is social-economic landscape. So if, for example, everybody wants to become IT specialist, there'll be somebody saying, okay, farms are becoming now really expensive and farming is now generating a lot of money, so let's become farmers. So there'll be automatically supply-demand situation. You can in a way decide how this thing turns into the future. Again, I'm not saying brand everybody as same. Everybody is different, but then there is always a habit for human beings to kind of club together. Look, I come to Eton, I wear bow tie, so we club together. This is unfortunately a human problem. It's a human failing, not a spiritual failing. People like to club together. So we are special, we are elite, and we are the pop musicians and all that. So they create their own groups. You can't stop it.
Wonderful, thank you. And I suspect this question is going to come up yet again in another form somewhere. So audience, please don't be afraid to ask us questions that have come up before, and if you still don't understand, then we're very happy to discuss with you. We have a question from Sivadas. One can understand that in Hindu beliefs we can worship a god, but I see at times people being treated as god and worshipped. I find this strange. What is your take on this? So yes, the living god, the Hindu person proclaiming himself to be, I am the living god and you should worship me.
This is the poor Hindus. What can I say? I would suspect there are 1,000 people in India today, I mean this is a lower estimate, who are claiming to be avatars, means God incarnate on earth. And they say, come and sit at my feet, I'll sort you out, and I can really remove all your physical problems, mental problems, social problems, economy. I can remove everything, just come and sit at my feet and I'll sort you out, I am the living God here. There are hundreds of thousands of people in India making such false claims. Now who to blame? If you are gullible, easily taken for a ride, then you'll find a guru of this nature. Unfortunately, what to do? I can't stop you. You find your own guru at your own level. So if the external Rajma task impresses you, you'll say, oh, yes, he must be the right one. Let me follow him. So if you are gullible, you are open to this kind of abuse. This is unfortunately the case. Hindus are very gullible. They love anything in the name of spirituality, religion. They'll grab it. Oh, yes, I must be. But unfortunately, this is a very serious issue. I am telling the Hindus, please be very watchful regarding who you trust. Out of millions of people making such claims, only perhaps 1 or 2 are genuine. But they are visible as well. Again, one interesting thing is this. Let me leave my story. In the story of Sri Ramakrishna, just a dozen youngsters, 17, 18-year youngsters like Narendra, Vikram Vivekananda, used to kind of come and talk to him in a little room in Dakshineshwar temple. And at the same time, there was somebody very majestic, the head of the Brahmo Samaj in Calcutta. And here, he could have Keshav Chandra Sen, and 5,000 people would go and listen to him and applaud him and say, yes, great master. And Keshav Chandra Sen, spiritually, is nowhere near Sri Ramakrishna. And yet you see the human beings, when the external showmanship kind of grabs their attention, they lose track of the deeper vision. So only a dozen youngsters who used to visit Ramakrishna, a real master, and Keshav Chandra, a lovely man, but very limited spiritual experience. And because of the Rajmatas and the external showmanship, thousands of people were gathering around him. This is unfortunately human failing. It is so easy for us to be kind of led like sheep. So if everybody is following this guru, let me follow him as well, because otherwise I'm left out. Just kind of to get an identity with all this group, and you feel without the group you feel left out, and you feel vulnerable. So you say, I must follow this group. So there are lots of such, they mean well perhaps, but they are not spiritually awakened. So be aware.
So it's a bit like a following, you have a peer pressure, community pressure.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's becoming quite a common thing, and even in Christianity, you have all these ministries where people come and they don't have the money, and yet they're encouraged to donate as much as they can, and these people unfortunately give their life savings. Some of them, I've heard,
Yes.
they have brought life savings in their bag, and they have put it into the donation basket, only to in the hope that they'll be cured of some illness or whatever it is.
It's frightening.
It's really frightening. I was watching one and I couldn't believe some people, and the reality is that the ones that they show that they have cured are actually just bogus.
That's right, artificially planted.
Yeah.
Artificially planted to impress the others. It's very true.
But if I did something like that, I would not be able to sleep at night.
But I'm sure you'll never do that. You can go to sleep easily now.
I could not take 1 pence from somebody and say that this is not one I have earned myself. Anyway, so Ujjwal Singh, thank you so much for your question. I think that the soul is like the software in a computer system. It is what runs our body. What are your thoughts on the soul?
Extremely good. I agree with that. In fact, this is the Hindu philosophy. It says the physical frame that we possess has been chiseled by natural selection, as Darwin said. We agree with Darwin. The physical body, the complexity we have has been in a way chiseled by a lot of accidents of evolution. When environment changes, unless some animals were able to adapt, they will kicked out. So this is how we have come out as this complex being through lots of accidents of evolution, undergoing a lot of physical chiseling. So we come out, the physical being we possess is through natural selection. We have no problem with Darwin whatsoever. But then the issue arises, what is it? What is that? As you say in your computer language, what is that's the hardware, your physical body, the frame, the DNA, etc. But the second question is, where is the software coming from? Because without the software, suppose you got a computer, marvelous computer, you switch it on, the cursor will blink and you say, yep, now what? Now what? Doesn't do anything. You need to plug in software for the computer to come alive. Now, according to the Hindu philosophy, this is a beautiful idea. It says that the software that we possess, that is our mental mode, our intellectual capacity, etc., has been framed through reincarnation over many lifetimes, and that is kind of finding re-expression in this physical body. So the software comes from reincarnation, the hardware through natural selection of Darwin. We agree with that. So this wonderful example of hard computer technology, computer kind of terminology is very, very correct. I agree with that.
Modern take. Nishit Bhai has given us a very good question here. Do we have free will? Do we have freedom of choice? Or is our freedom of choice an illusion?
Nishit Bhai sitting in the corner firing very, very rough, rude questions at me. It's not fair. It's not fair. Nishit Bhai is supposed to be a helper, not trying to destroy me.
He is helping us because he's making us think about something very important.
Okay, look, this is a very important question. Because if you really think carefully, everything is controlled by cause and effect, correct? Yes. So even our thinking process has been chiseled by the way we've been brought up. So our nature and nurture in a way dictates how we think. How can it be without? It can't just come out of the blank. So even the way we think and we interact or we act has been in a way fashioned by the nature and nurture we possess. So Nishit Bhai is asking a point, where is free will there? Because if everything is fixed now, like cogwheel, clicking away, where is the free will? Because everything, even your thinking process has been chiseled. It's already been decided how you're going to answer the question. So where is free will? This is the beauty. It's a very good question. And the answer is this. At every moment of time, every living thing, not the computer, every living thing, even a little bacteria or a little, amoeba, thinks it has got free will. You see, this is what keeps driving us. If we thought we don't have free will, we are dead. We are just like a dead, kind of a wonderful computer. That's it. There's no spirit left in you. So the sign of the spirit in the individual or in every living thing is this idea they have a free will. Even though I know that everything I say has already been chiseled by the way I've been brought up and what I've learned, etc. And yet every moment I say, no, I can think of something different. I've got this, if you like, this ability to have free will. This is in a way the spark of the spirit becoming visible through this very limited frame. Body and mind is kind of like a shackle holding us down. We can't think outside it. And yet something within us is telling us, no, I've got free will. And that is a sign of the spirit. So the moment you think you don't have any free will, you are dead. So I'm saying, do not snuff out your free will. You think, I'm going to take a decision. This is my decision. Let it be. Even though I'm telling you that decision has already been chiseled. But no, it's my decision. Okay, go for it. The moment you stop going for it, the free will in a way, the spirit has been snuffed out. Don't do that. Then you become a computer. Then you're no longer human, a living thing.
So basically, when we were talking about meditation earlier, you were talking about the meditation bringing out the soul, bringing out that illusion, that hope,
Look, let me touch on something extra. You see, I talked about that 3 kinds of suffering: physical suffering, mental suffering. The third suffering we all have is spiritual suffering. What is this spiritual suffering? Let me tell you. This comes out from this question. There is something within every living thing, and especially become more visible in human beings, that is trying to break free from all shackles. This is the thing. Freedom is the goal, not God, not the spirit, not even Atman. The thing which is within us is trying to express something. I want to break free from even the mental shackles I have, because my mental process has also been chiseled, has been fashioned by the way I've been brought up in many lifetimes. So I want to break free even from that. So this idea of trying to break free from every limitation is the idea of the spirit. The spirit, this is the sign of the spirit. So free will is in a way showing up as, if you like, this ability, this very tremendous love to have freedom from all limitation, including our mental, our physical and mental limitation, intellectual limitation as well.
That's a wonderful question, Nishit Bhai. Thank you so much for that. And we have one more question from Nishit Bhai. What is essential for happiness, and what is true happiness?
Okay. Now you see, the underpinning of this reality, as Adi Shankara said, are three words: asti, pati, priya. These are the three words we use to understand, if you like, the nearest handle or vocabulary we have to understand the idea of spirit. Asti means the nature of existence. This becomes visible in modern physics. Existence is the key feature. It's the shadow in existence that creates the world that we see. This is physics. So existence has already been shown very clearly to be the underpinning of reality. Asti. From the word asti, we get the word English word, the Latin word acet, and from acet we get the word English word existence. Existence. That's one word. The second word I've touched on sometimes is pati. Consciousness is a puzzle. It's not something that comes out of matter. If you think it comes out of matter, you are Richard Dawkins. It doesn't come out of matter. It is something that uses matter to express itself, but it is not something that's byproduct of matter. And that again is a wonderful issue in neuroscience. What is the nature of consciousness? The third thing I've not really focused on is bhati. Now the word is priya. Asti, bhati, priya. Priya means, it doesn't mean pleasure, it means bliss. So our real journey is to attain this state of bliss, which is underpinning to our true nature. But unfortunately, instead of looking for bliss, we look for happiness. This is where the troubles arises. We somehow feel that by having a body, if I can eat that food, go on that holiday, marry that woman, whatever, that gives me happiness. Somehow you are replacing the word bliss with the word happiness. Means something that is physical, mental. Suppose I love music, and it gives me happiness. So again, this is, if you like, the mental mode you adopt to understand the idea of bliss. So we are looking for bliss, but in the wrong area. So we look for bliss in the physical world, and they say, oh, I must have food, I must drink this, must go on holiday, I must marry this, etc. That's, in a way, looking for bliss in the physical world, physical pleasures. Then we say, no, we advance. We look for pleasure in, if you like, the mental mode, music and philosophy, and I love stuff like that, good for you. You are now looking for bliss in your mental, mode. It is not there either. So the difference between happiness and bliss is this. We are looking for bliss, but in the wrong area, not in the physical, mental, or intellectual realm. It is in the realm of the spirit. And again, how can I be sure? Look, the most important thing is only spiritual experience will give you this lovely idea that this asti, bhati, priya are not just three words. You actually experience it. And they're not three different things, by the way. When you experience, they become one, unified. The same thing, existence makes me, I get bliss at the same time. The same existence that I feel comfortable gives me, in a way, allows me to become more conscious regarding what is consciousness itself, become conscious of consciousness itself. Can you imagine what that feels like? So asti, bhati, priya, these three lovely words Adi Shankara brought out. And the word the word priya, looking for bliss. But we look in the wrong area, and we're looking in the search of happiness. And what happens? We search after happiness, we chase after things, and unhappiness comes and keeps smacking us, because this is the way this world is. So the fact that you fault, if I can just have happiness, unhappiness has come here, disease coming, death coming, whack you. So unhappiness has a habit of knocking us down again and again. Yet we say, no, in the physical realm, mental realm, let me find happiness. It's not there.
Okay, so it's an awakening. Thank you, Nishit Bhai, for that question. That was both those questions very thought-provoking. Okay, so Vishal Vishakhi, why is it that Hindus are quick to adopt other forms of religion and abandon or oppose their own religion? We've already mentioned before that Hinduism in India is going down, whilst Hinduism in outside of India is increasing, and the people who are following Hinduism is increasing outside of India.
You see, this is the problem, because you see, as we are kind of gullible people, we somehow feel that the grass is greener in the next door's garden. So unfortunately, we somehow feel that by abandoning our religion, we'll make better spiritual progress. Look, I'm telling you from my experience. When a person converts from one religion to another religion, he becomes the greatest enemy of the religion he has abandoned. Check it out. If a person leaves a religion and adopts another religion, then to justify his kind of move, he will in a way vilify the religion he has left behind. The greatest, if you like, vociferous kind of enemies of Hinduism are people who have been left Hinduism and gone into other religion, whether they're Christian or Islam, whatever. This is unfortunately the case. In order to justify your move yourself, you become, if you like, very kind of anti-Hindu. So this is the reason why we have such anti-Hindu sentiment in modern India. These people who are converted kind of trying to vilify this religion they're left behind. It's a great pity because this is a magnanimous tradition, vast tradition, gives you tremendous openness in making spiritual progress in the mode that suits your temperament. And yet you want to abandon that and take on a blinkered religion which says only this is the prescription, it's a very prescriptive religion, follow this thing and you go to heaven. You want to follow that? Does it sound sensible? Think about it.
Yes, it's a very, very important question, Vishal Visakhi. Thank you so much. And we have a second question for us. People over time will start by loving and worshipping many gods, then gravitate towards believing and following one particular god. How does one defend their choice of doing this? Because as you get older, you tend to sort of not maybe. I think what Vishal Visakhi is saying is that
this is very important because somehow when people want to believe in Hinduism, they say, "Oh, many gods. This is the weakness of Hinduism. How can you have many gods? This is nonsense and all the weird-looking gods and goddesses." So people say, "Let's move this and move into one simple, clear-cut God. Simple, one God, full stop." Look, we keep repeatedly telling you Hinduism is not a polytheist religion, many gods. Hinduism is a pluralistic tradition, many ways to think about spirituality or ultimate reality. As a male figure, a female figure with 4 arms, 6 heads, whatever. Many ways to think about spirituality in a personalized manner or even an impersonal manner like Atman and Brahman. So this is the vastness of this tradition. Pluralism, many ways to be spiritual. So rather than say, oh, it's a weakness, it's the very strength of the tradition because this allows other religions to know how they can relate to people of other religions. This is their way, this is my way. And also the problem, the friction you have within the same religion can be removed by this idea of pluralism. If you are particular, say if you are Catholic, so I like to do ceremonials, and so that's your way. I'm Protestant, no, I don't want the ceremonials. Good for you. So in a way, this resolves the issue of intra-faith dialogue. Even people in the same religion fighting each other will stop fighting by adopting pluralism. This is his way, this is my way. Not that my way is better. This is the way that suits my temperament, my digestion. Let me follow it and let you follow your pathway. Don't follow my pathway, otherwise you get in a mess. Mm-hmm. This is the beauty and the maturity of pluralism. And for Hindus, forget that. So, we are vilified, we got too many gods, so let's go to a religion which got one god. That's a blinkered approach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. We have a question from New York, which is from Akarsh B. Thank you very much for your lovely question here. Please explain the difference between Rita in Vedas and Dharma later in Hinduism.
It's a very beautiful question because most people don't know. When you look at the ancient scriptures of Hindus, this is when we use the word Dharma. But the word dharma came afterwards. The first word we use is rita. Rita means this is how things are. That's all. This is how things work. Oh, this is wood, it burns. Oh, this is the water, it flows. Rita. This is the original way. So when Hindus were making sense of the world they lived in, the first word they had invented was not dharma, was rita. This is the way this world operates. This is the way the cookie crumbles. So the word is rita. This is the original word. And then we change the word, or if you like, evolve the word, evolve into the word dharma, dhara. What is that out of which everything comes out? What is it that holds everything together? So Rita says this is how different things work. When we say, no, it says something that in a way unifies the variety of experience we have in front of our eyes. So the diversity we experience, can we in a way unify and say there's something underpinning this which appears as the diversity in front of us. So this is the quest of science. Trying to find, if you like, convergence, unity in diversity. So the word Rita was then, the word Rita evolved into the word Dharma. So the original word was Rita. This is how the world operates. This is the idea of Hinduism. Not, God and Goddess is saying, what is the nature of reality? What is happening? What are the rules that operate in the world around us? Let's come to terms with them and use them for our benefit. This is the idea of the Rita, and then of course turn into the word Dharma.
Evolving. Dynamically evolving. Rahul Ghosh, thank you so much, Akarshji. That was a very good question and welcome from New York. Rahul Ghosh, is it okay to believe there is only one life, that there was no life before this one, and there will be no other life after this. Is a life that we have at present the only life that we have?
Look, Rahul, you can join the British Humanist Association or the Humanist Association in the United States very easily, because this is precisely what they're saying. They're saying, look, Mr. Lakhani and people of religion, listen, this is the only life you have. Deal with it, live with it, do the best you can, try and fulfill all your desires, whatever, and try and live a very kind of meaningful life. These are what they use: meaningful life and sensible life and peaceful life, loving life. Fair enough. So this is the way the humanists kind of address the issue of saying that there's only one life. What is strength and weakness? The strength of this particular approach, look, they have strength. Even though I don't agree with that, they have strength. The strength is this. It tells us this life is so precious, make every moment golden. Every moment of your life, use it as gold and kind of enjoy, thrill every moment of your life, every second, enjoy life fully, kind of engage with life, engage with life fully. This is the strength of this kind of idea of only one life scenario. Suppose you want to be like that. The best example is David Hume, a Scottish philosopher I love and I really kind of respect. He lived like that. And this is a wonderful way. Does it mean that, oh, he's going to hell? I said, no, this is the way he addresses the human condition and said, this is the way I address it and resolve it. This is the only life. Let me live it fully. And then when time comes to die, I die, full stop. Of course, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered in this particular field, because he'll say, but look, suppose there's a child who is born and with serious, illness and dies straight away. Now, what life is that? I mean, it doesn't seem fair. Reincarnation and rebirth in a way give a kind of a better, kind of much more continuity regarding what life is and what we human beings are all about. There's a continuation from past life to this life and to future lives. This is, if you like, again, suppose I just said it as a philosophy or it's just an argument. Doesn't work. A lot of positive research has been done by Ian Stevenson in University of Virginia that shows that reincarnation is for real. So do some research on it. If it was just, just make believe, just to get comfort in death, saying, oh, I'll continue to live, my parents will kind of have another life, etc. If it's just to give you comfort, then it's no good. We are saying it is for real. And there is positive research suggesting that this is not just make believe, just to give us kind of comfort. It is true. It is true. So please explore this more.
Yes, in fact, there isn't a single scientific body that is able to explain where children are born and they live in a different country. They recall a past life. They can recall a past life, and in fact, somebody has died in a certain family somewhere else, and they have immediately been reborn somewhere else.
Yeah,
a few years later, that family is still there.
Yep.
They can actually name the village, they can name the people, they can name where it is, and they have gone to see, and it's true.
Padma, this is exactly what Professor Ian Stevenson has done. He has done research on 3,000 children who recall their past lives spontaneously, and whenever possibly is checked out, they fit. Now, the only way these two lives can be linked is not genetic, it's not fraud, it is through the theory of reincarnation.
Yeah, absolutely. There seems to be no other explanation. So, yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for that question. And Rahul Ghoshji, thank you so much. And we have a question from Akarshpi again. Are ancient Vedas
Fire rituals
relevant today, even though they have survived through for
thousands of years? Yeah.
For thousands of years.
Okay, look. See, when I say stuff like this, I will rattle some people, but so be it. In ancient days, we somehow felt that in order for us to build relationship with higher forces or higher beings, or even ourselves, it is good to kind of do a kind of fire ceremony, havan. This was standard, it's still being used by modern India. Millions of Hindus will do it when they're buying a new house, whatever, they'll do havan ceremony. I'm not here to vilify them. This is a kind of in a way, kind of a tokenistic approach to your inheritance. We have been doing it for thousands of years. Fair enough. You want to do it? Carry on. Now, the idea behind that was to build up relationship with higher beings or ourselves. We say, let's say this fire ceremony is a kind of a ritual that we carry out, and you offer ghee and grain, and by that you want to become empowered and so on. Now, there are two aspects to the havan ceremony. Let me be very clear. There is the exoteric, means external. That means, oh, in the havan ceremony, I will do certain donations, I'll do certain good works, I'll feed people. That's a very nice way of saying, I'm going to contribute for the greater good, havan ceremony. But the esoteric havan ceremony is much more deeper. And this is what I suspect the ancient Vedic seers were talking about. When you say the word swaha, offering ghee or grain, in fact, it's not the ghee and grain that you're offering to some higher being. You're offering your ego. Swaha, swa, I'm giving it up. So the process of giving up or rubbing off the ego is a spiritual kind of ideal. And that I would agree. So if you, for example, say I'm going Havan, in the Havan ceremony, I'm going to say I'm going to discard my ego. I'm going to burn my ego. Then I say, good for you. You understood the deeper vision of the Vedic vision of Havan. But if you say, no, exoteric means external, all the family come and, oh, we have this thing and we have nice feasting. Fair enough. If that is your level, so be it. Carry on. I'm not going to stop you.
Thank you. I didn't really know the meaning of Swaha so that does make sense. Ankit Kumar Saha. If Devi Devtas are different from Ishwar, why did the Vedas suggest
Ekam Sad Vipra Bodha? And why?
Ekam Sad and Vipra Bahudra.
Yeah.
And why did you say we get moksha by worshipping or any Devi Devta as Brahman?
Okay. Look, Devi basically means higher beings. That's what we actually mean. From the word Diva in Sanskrit, it means made of light. So we are saying higher beings, after they leave this realm, they go into a different realm, which is made of light. I don't know, I haven't experienced it, but this is the claim the Hindus make. They go to higher place, a higher lok, Devlok, and these are the Devs and Devis of people made of light. This is the theory of the Hindus. I have not experienced it, so I can't say anymore. Fair enough. Now, the Devis are just higher beings, but they're just individuals who are kind of live for higher ideals and principles, and so they're nice, better people than normal people you meet in the worldly life. This is the idea of Devlok. Now, Ekam Satya Vipra Bahuta Vadanti doesn't say now you worship all the Devas and Devis. It's simply saying you can relate to the deeper vision regarding what is nature of reality using different pathways. Ekam Satya. Satya, it doesn't say Dev Devis. The same ultimate can be approached, thought of, and kind of engaged with using different pathways. Ekam Sadha Vipra Bahuta Vadanti. So you're not saying Devis are... See, suppose you love Saraswati. Suppose you are in love with the idea of Saraswati, giver of knowledge. Suppose you put all your attention on Saraswati as the ultimate reality, then that particular thing becomes, if you like, ultimate reality for you, and that is fine. But generally just worshipping all the Devas and Devis is not the idea of Ekam Satya Vipra Bahuta Vadanti. Be careful. It's simply saying many pathways for exploring spirituality, maybe with Devis or Devtas or gods and goddesses, or without them even. This is the openness of the system.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Ankit Kumar Sahaji. Friends, people out there, please do tell us where you're watching us from, and share, like and comment. And we have our last question for today from Vanessa Persaud from New York, from USA. Thank you so much for your question. Why is it that Hinduism is declining in India, and why can't this be stopped, especially in Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, it's a sad thing, isn't it? Look, the reason why we are doing all this activity on Facebook, on YouTube and WhatsApp is precisely this thing, that it grieves me to see this majestic tradition being undermined, being demolished, becoming kind of scattered, dissipated, and kind of vilified. I feel very grieved. That is the reason why I'm doing this. There's no other commercial motivation behind what I'm doing. There's no sectarian motivation. I'm not even promoting, Vivekananda Center and sectarian movement. I'm not in that business. So I'm not here to promote commercial elements or sectarian, kind of agendas. I'm here to promote that deeper vision of Hinduism. And the best thing I can use is WhatsApp, because it's like magic. It's like Ramban. You fire it and it becomes million and goes all over India. So I'm using all the, if you like, modern technology to, in a way, revigorate and revitalize Hinduism, which is losing its luster. And I tell you, this tradition has had lots of ups and downs. It's not the first time it's going in a very down spiral. It has had lots of ups and downs. Just after Buddha, they went in a downside where charvaks were kind of pure materialistic, atheistic people saying, eat, drink, and be merry, steal if you can, but don't get caught. This was the philosophy of India. It's not very different now, by the way. The same thing, eat, drink, and steal, don't get caught. So we have gone through these ups and downs many times before. We are going through it again now. But with this new leader, I'm very comfortable. We'll recover. We'll get over it. So we have ups and downs. That's the story of life. What to do? Thank you, my friends.
Thank you very much, everybody. The beauty of these broadcasts is that we're just giving you an open view of Hinduism and answering some of those very niggling questions that we all have from time to time. And maybe that's what's reducing our understanding. And so, because we're not sure about what we're doing, so we don't follow. But thank you so much, Mr. Lakhani ji. Thank you very much, everybody out there. And Nishit Bhai ji, thank you so much. Hope to see you again next week. Please do join us, live broadcast from London every Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Thanks, Padma, for all the help you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.